Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we got a nail in our BFG K02s on our Lexus GX460. We live on dirt roads, so this is very common out here. We're going to go ahead and do this real time here and try to get this taken care of. Now, admittedly, I am doing this without taking the tire off the, or excuse me, the wheel off the wheel off the car out of sheer laziness. So, in other words, trying to make things easy on myself. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll find out together. I'm going to pry this nail up, try to get it out with these pliers here. Always have pliers in your kit, it's always a good idea. And I'm going to go ahead and grip the nail, wiggle it out. Careful not to make the hole too much bigger. And you're going to hear the air pull out, or leak out when I get it out. Now I'm going to have to ream this a little bit, so it's okay to wiggle it a little bit. Now I'm going to let the, there's your nail, by the way. Looks like a box nail, not quite a framing nail, not quite a trim nail. Box nail, looks to be galvanized. Holes right there. I'm actually going to let the air seep out while we get our repair kit ready. I'm just going to use a basic repair kit. Basic reamer. And the hole is here. And since the hole is kind of small, I can change the angle, hopefully, to more like that instead of that. And since I do these all the time, relatively speaking, I'm going to go ahead and use a drill and put the reamer into the drill, and it will make the reaming process slightly more enjoyable. While the air is leaking out, I'm going to come over here and jack the car up on this rock slider here. Just enough to take some weight off the vehicle and the tire, while the air is draining out of it. I don't know how much this rock slider can handle. Actually, I'm going to change my mind there. I don't trust the rock slider. Instead, we'll just come over, or go underneath, go ahead and find some place on the frame here. And that will just make me feel more warm and fuzzy. This rock slider is supposed to be rated for jacking, but I don't trust that. Because when I just went to jack it up, you actually see the rock slider bending up against the body of the car, which means it wasn't happy. So, okay, so the weight of the car just went off. The weight of the car just went off the tire here. Oh, great! I can move this tire around. I got some wiggle room here. And again, the air is draining out. So I got the air draining out, or leaking out, because it's going to actually make the insertion of your tire plugs, and I like the red kind. I have no idea if it makes a difference or not, but somehow I feel the red kind are better. Could be complete superstition. You tell me, what do you like, the red kind or what? So always remember to experiment with this needle here. You may have to open the end of it a little bit more with pliers based on how you like to do things. Speaking of pliers, they're good for pulling the other end here through your needle. Just go ahead and pull it halfway through. Like that. Okay. Next, take a little silicone lube, and all this is silicone paste, and put it there. It's going to help the plug go in, and then down here on your drill that now has your reamer on there. Go ahead and lube that up, and we're ready to ream. I have noticed with these, with better tires, actually a lot harder to get the tire plug inserted with air in them. The cords and whatnot and the steel belts are so good in these better grade tires such as this BFG K02 that you really do need to let the air out. Otherwise it'll be kind of fighting you. It'll kind of be fighting you if you try to put the tire plug in with air in it. So the better the tire, the more air you got to let out of it. That's what my experience says. There, the reamer went through. Now a lot more air should come out. Beats having to do that by hand. So I've noticed with cheaper tires, the tire plug goes in easy because there's not a lot going on under the tread. Like I said, these tires here, you're going to want to go ahead and let everything out before you go ahead and put your tire plug in there. So that's why I got the air spilling out. I'm making it flat on purpose. And we're pretty much prepped for this. You don't need the power tools. It just makes it easier to ream. And remember, if you're finding this video helpful, remember to like, subscribe, and yeah, I mean, everybody has a different way of doing this, but it's always a good idea to have a tire repair kit. We've got this basic one down there. Again, has some other accessories. Find them anywhere, keep them in your car, along with your jack. And if you get lucky like this one, hopefully we will be able to plug this without having to take the tire or wheel off the car. So there we are set up. All I got to do is wait for that air to come out. If you had your valve stem removal tool or whatever, you could do that quicker. So let's go ahead and just going to pause while the air comes out. All I'm doing is waiting for the air to come out. Once the air starts quieting down, that means most of it's out, and we're going to go ahead and insert that, cut it, and then we'll be back in business. Alright, so the air's out of the tire now, and one quick note, this is close to the shoulder. I have no idea with the K02 if this is technically on the shoulder. It's right here where my finger is, so we're right in that marginal zone between the tread and the not supposed to plug shoulder. I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway because I think we might be still okay. But if you're not sure, then it's up to you whether you want to do this or not. I have seen people all over this region have plugs in the most ridiculous parts in these K02s. I have no idea. This is my first set of K02s, so let me know if you've tried K02s, plugging them in places you're not supposed to plug them, such as the shoulder or right in the sidewall. Now, my experience with plugging things that are outside of the steel belt into the shoulder is you won't necessarily have a blowout, but what will happen is the rubber will stretch and then your plug will leak. So you'll just start leaking and you can't plug it anymore because the rubber itself will break away. If you hit the steel belts or something structural, then the plug will stay. So this is either going to hold or it's going to stretch, and I'm not worried about blowouts. So here we go. So have your tool, insertion tool, try to remember the angle you went at, and I always like to twist in the direction of your reamer. You noticed how your reamer went kind of clockwise in a spiral. Now if this was a cheap tire, this thing would go in so easy, but it's not a cheap tire, so you really have to push on this thing even without any air. So that's just the quality of the tire, which is a good thing. So twist and push. Some are easier than others. And then whatever, we're getting to be about what, eighth of an inch, or quarter inch, eighth of an inch is usually where people stop. So something like that is where we're going to stop. And then I'm going to count to 3 and yank this thing out at the angle. 1, 2, 3. There you have it. Now it's just a matter of filling her up and checking for leaks. So the preferred method, of course, is soapy water. But I guess if you have a ultrasonic sound sensor laying around, that would be even more high tech. One of those sensors that detects air conditioner leaks. You could ultrasonically hear the leak. But that's just if you have that laying around. Otherwise, I'm going to hit it with some soapy water. I'm going to go ahead and take a razor blade and cut this high hanging part up. It is in the valley here. It's not on the blocks or whatever, the tall parts of the tread, down in the valley. And as far as filling tire pressure, go ahead and fill it up over. So I'll just fill up to 40. It's easier to let pressure out than to add it later. That way you can turn the compressor off and all that good stuff. And this is the second puncture we've had in K02s, and we've had, I think, 2 or 3 in the Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. So they're about neck and neck as far as punctures go. Again, that's just the conditions we live in. We live off-road every day, and nothing rusts or corrodes out here. So what I'm saying is the nails are always in the ground, and then when it flash floods, the sand, the water moves the sand around, and all these nails from who knows how many years ago rise and float to the surface, and you're apt to get more punctures this time of year, what we call monsoon season around here. Okay, grab your soapy water. It doesn't need to be in a spray bottle. And what you're essentially looking for is the bubbles to grow. Stuff like that, of course, is fine. You'll know when you see it, it'll just keep growing. And you don't need a spray bottle. You can just pour this if you don't have a spray bottle, soapy water, and even regular water works. But the soapy water will help you find it. So once you are confident you don't have any bubbles growing, people do this differently. You can cut it with scissors, or go ahead and just kind of saw with your razor blade whatever's sticking out. Please comment if you know any tires that never ever get punctures. I would love to know what brand that is. If you don't know and you have experience with plugging tires, let me know what techniques you like, what works for you, what doesn't work, ways to make this process quicker, these sort of things. Because this is a virtually guaranteed if you either live off-road or go off-roading. And it's very common for us. So much so that we probably have more tire repair kits hanging around than anything else. So this tire is overinflated to 40 psi. And I'm going to start the car and use the tire pressure monitoring system to show me what the actual psi is when I start taking the air out of the tire. And I will kind of soap check this again a few times as we are getting to the correct air pressure. I'm going to set this at, like, I don't know, for the temperature now, like 33 cold. But whatever temperature you want to set it to, just remember to check your plug is what I'm saying a few times. Sometimes these cut easier than others. I have no idea why this one's being stubborn. But this is pretty much it. Okay, so clean your dirty tools up. Like that. Make it brand new again, because you're going to have to do it again. Believe you me. Sometimes you can wiggle it around. And, you know, whatever. All that will get flattened down. I don't think I've ever seen one actually pull out. But if for some reason you're not having that, this is another way you can cut it with these side cutters here on your pliers. And again, always have pliers in your kit. Yeah, maybe that didn't work so well. Let's go back to the knife. Always have pliers in your kit to help you pull the nail out. Now, if you don't have a power drill and for some reason you're new to plugging tires, just use the hand reamer. Same thing, you're just doing it by hand. But using the drill like I did, if you can, if you're at home or you just happen to carry an extra drill with you or whatever, it'll save you a lot of energy. Bottom line. These plugs are good. Maybe that's why I like the red ones. But as you can see, they're tough stuff. So anyway, I am totally over finessing this. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. And have a great day. I'm going to start the car, see what the TPMS says, let the air out to the exact tire pressure, and I'm good to go.